Now, sometimes people think that being a Christian is all about what we do. They might think it's about being a religious person, i.e. you are regularly going to church, or you're saying your prayers, or you're giving to charity, or you're trying to behave to a certain moral standard. It's got something to do with what we do. Either people have a positive idea, you do good things, or perhaps something you do negatively. You're a bit of a bigot, or you're a bit unpleasant, or you have some old-fashioned views, or whatever it might be. But actually, that is, I guess, a lie, actually. That the heart of Christianity, which is found in the Bible and around the man Jesus, is very, very clear that it's not to do with what we do, but it's got everything to do with what Jesus has already done. I remember when I was just starting to explore Christianity and look at it for myself and work out what it meant for me, which I encourage everyone to do. Make it a personal investigation. Don't just inherit an opinion from your family or society. What does it mean for you? And I remember in those early days, someone very helpfully said to me, Alex, Christianity is not spelt D-O, do. It's spelt D-O-N-E, done. It's about fundamentally what Jesus has done for us and us just trusting that. And one of the ways that is made really clear by Jesus is in some of his very last words, just as he is dying. When Jesus is killed, he's crucified as if he was a criminal. It's an injustice, he's innocent, but he's crucified as if he was a criminal. And I guess to make good use of the time and the space, they crucified two other people alongside him. So the three of them are dying in this horrendous and horrid way, these two criminals. Let me read the little conversation, those three men, Jesus and those two criminals, we don't know their names. Let me just read the conversation that they have. It's in Luke 23. It says this. There was written above Jesus a notice which said, "This man is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him. "Don't you fear God," he said, "since you're under the same sentence? We are punished justly, for we're getting what our deeds deserve, but this man has done nothing wrong." Then he turned to Jesus. "Jesus," he said, "remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus answered him, "Truly I tell you, today you'll be with me in paradise." Aren't you struck by that? In fact, you may even be slightly angered by that. There's this criminal, the two of them. One is taking the mickey out of Jesus, but the other is really serious and recognizes who Jesus is and says to Jesus, "Please remember me when you come into your kingdom." Now, I don't know what that man had done to deserve to be crucified. Something pretty horrific if execution was the punishment. But he turns to Jesus, even with all of that history, even with all of that background, and says, "Jesus, please remember me." It's literally this man's dying breath. And Jesus responds, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." It could not be clearer. It's not about what we do, whether we've done some really good things or some really bad things. What we do doesn't determine our eternal future. It's what Jesus has done. And whether we are able to turn to Jesus and say to Jesus, "Remember me. I trust you, so don't forget me," just like this man did. If we look at our past and say, "I've got it all together, I'm such a good person, I'm all sorted," and think that makes us right with God, we are so lost. And if we think all these bad things I've done mean Jesus would never accept me, we're so lost. We need to put aside what we do and say like this man, "Jesus, it's what you've done for me. Remember me." And so again, I want to urge you, as we come to this end of this video, would you be like this criminal? Would you turn to Jesus today and say, "Jesus, would you remember me? I trust you. I trust what you've done for me, Jesus. Would you remember me today?" Because you'll hear Jesus say to you, when you do that, you'll hear Jesus' reply, "Truly I tell you, today you'll be with me." If you'd like to read this story about Jesus from the Bible, then you just need to follow the link that's in the description below this video. And if you'd like to discover more about Jesus, what it means to follow him, being a Christian, or church life, then why don't you drop us an email at the address below.